Alright, so I recently picked up one of these Worx Hydroshots. Part number is, or model number rather, is WG629. So these are seeming to be actually pretty cool little tools. So here it is. Let's get it out of the box. And we'll just go over what's on the outside of the box. So these are not meant to replace a pressure washer. It's basically a little bit stronger than a normal garden hose, and it's battery powered and obviously portable. It's rated at 320 psi, so my pressure washer does, I believe, 2800 psi. Again, if you're buying one of these to either replace a pressure washer or you're buying one of these so you don't have to get a pressure washer, you're going to need a pressure washer still. So it's 20 volts. Now I do have 32 volt Worx tools, but I do have some 20 volt ones as well, so it's not a huge deal. But we'll see all this stuff when we open it up. But this is a 20-foot small little hose attachment that you can really attach it to any sort of body of water. Like in their commercial, they advertise that you can use water out of a lake or water out of a bottle like I'm going to do. Comes with, looks like a carrying bag, 20 volt battery, charger, and nozzle tip. So honestly, I think this thing's going to work out pretty well for what I'm going to use it for. And I've been meaning to do this for honestly a couple of years now. But the insides of these roll-up doors are just filthy. They need to be cleaned, and it wouldn't be that big of a deal except for the fact that if you brush up against them, you get dust all over you. And they have not been cleaned since this building was manufactured. So they definitely need to be cleaned. And also it'd be handy to have it for, around here if I ever want to clear all this stuff out and clean up the floors or just clean up my work area. There's really so many different uses you could get out of these. So that's pretty simple. Open the box and the unit's right here. Feels pretty good in the hand, pretty solid. So extension lance and then a short lance. I wonder if it comes with both of those. I would think it would. Here we have limited warranty info, power share, which I have the weed whacker. I've got two of these. One of them's a 32 volt, and I've been meaning to pick up one of their drills or impacts. But I've actually been pretty impressed with their tools. They're pretty decent for the money. Then we have the charger manual, the Hydroshot manual, and the warranty registration card. So here is the long extension. Here's the battery, which looks like it needs to be charged, so I'll go ahead and throw this on the charger now. We have looks like the battery charger itself, carrying bag, a nozzle with the short extension on it, and the part that you're going to use to hook up to the bottom of the unit to supply it with water. Now, I'm not 100% sure, but I think there is a way to attach this thing to a garden hose, and I don't know if it's any of these tools that come with it. I could be wrong, but maybe you can take this end off and unscrew that and put that end on. I have no idea. I'm not really too worried about attaching it to an actual garden hose or not. Namely because, the garden hose that I would be using is all the way over there. So I'd have to drag it over here, and I think it's plenty long enough, but it's just a pain in the ass. Plus that hose, I need to put a new end on it anyways. But let's go ahead and get this on the charger, and I'll meet you guys when this is all charged up. Alright, so before I bring the door back down, I'm going to show you guys just what exactly you have to do to set this thing up to use. Now, the first thing we have here is the hose, and this is the filter side that goes in the water. And it has this float that you can kind of move and situate it to wherever you want. I'm going to situate it so that that filter is touching the bottom of this bucket. And you take this little clip and that locks it into place. It's in just fine. So now what I'm going to do is I want to use the extension. So we'll slide this part in. It kind of just locks in place. And there you have that. Then up here you have different spray modes you can use. 0 degree, kind of a Mr. Shower type spray. 40 degree, 25, 15, and 0. I think for right now we'll do 15. I might switch it over to 25 depending on how well this works out. But all we have to do now is slap a battery on, which these newer Worx batteries have the charge indicator. Goes on just like that. In order to use it, you have to press down on this button, and there you go. You guys can hear it just fine. So let's grab this. We'll do a couple test sprays. We have a willing participant right here, and we're at 15. So I'm not going to really try and go overboard testing it out on this mower, but I'm going to do it just because it's here. Actually does an okay job. Rinsing these lawnmowers off is normally a job I delegate to my pressure washer. But what's good about this is it'll work and it won't strip the paint off of a lawnmower, because I have had that issue before with some lawnmowers that I've taken my pressure washer to. Is it's just so strong, and even with the proper tip on the end of your nozzle, it still strips the paint off if it's old enough. But this, it's gentle enough so it's not going to damage what paint is there, and it'll still take off a bunch of grease and grime. Now again, it's not going to do the same job a pressure washer would, as good as a pressure washer. So I'm going to drop the door back down and situate the tripod back, and you guys can watch me tackle this door and see how it does. I do have a couple shot fans I'm going to set up after I do this. So as far as the camera is concerned, it's picking up most of the dirt on this thing up towards the top, which you guys can clearly see. Now we'll go ahead and start up there. I'll do the top so all of it will run down onto the floor, and then after I'm satisfied with how the top turned out, I'll position the camera down here so you guys can see the bottom part. This extension really comes in handy though. And I forgot, it has a turbo mode. So we'll shift it over to 15 degrees. Now, one thing I do want to mention is it's not the tool's fault, but in all honesty, should have a ladder to get the top part, though that does make it look a lot better. But this is kind of the stuff that I have to deal with on this thing. This has been caked on here for years, and to my knowledge, it's never been cleaned. But I'll get you guys a couple close-up shots of how well it actually takes this stuff off. I have it on the 15-degree setting right now. It works pretty well when you're at the correct angle. So it does a decent enough job when you can get the proper angle on whatever you're trying to clean off. It does a pretty damn good job. It's not going to be perfect, you know, it's still going to leave some things up there, and in all honesty, you're probably better suited to bringing a garden hose over anyways to wash off what you need. The battery's just about had it. It's not completely discharged yet, but 2 bucketfuls of water later, this thing looks a lot better. It's still far from perfect. Like I said, there's years and years worth of dust and dirt and grime that's stuck inside of this door. You guys can see how bad it is up at the top, where no rainwater and nothing in here hits it. But looks a lot better now. Final thoughts about this thing is, honestly, I got this off of eBay, as seen out of that box, I think for about 80 bucks, 80 or 90 bucks. They did have a sale going on, and I was able to enter in a coupon code for, I believe it was Memorial Day. So I ended up getting about $20 off of it when it was all said and done. So for 80 bucks or even 100, if you happen to pay 100 for this thing, I think it's worth it. As long as you know what to expect with it, and you know, you don't try and have it do something that is quite obvious that it's not going to be able to handle. It's only pushing out just over 300 psi. I mean, you're not going to remove caked on dirt and grease that's on an engine block. It's just not going to be able to handle that. But for small odd jobs where you don't need to do 100%, you don't need it looking nice like you would with a pressure washer, or you just need to knock the dust off of something, or you know, like the lawnmower, this thing is going to work perfect for that. I really think Worx really hit a home run with this thing, and I have seen some of the reviews online for it, and you know, it's all the negative reviews are coming from people that think that this thing can just stand up to a pressure washer of, you know, electric or gas powered, but in reality it's not marketed that way. It's marketed as a portable washer that you don't need to have a dedicated source of water for, or a dedicated power source other than a battery. So it's really handy, and the fact that it's very portable, it's lightweight, it pushes out a lot more pressure than a regular garden hose does. I think I would recommend it, as long as, like I said, you use it for its intended purpose and don't expect more than it could handle. I think this is a great little tool. And the battery itself even kind of surprised me a bit, because I got more than 25 minutes or so of runtime. We can just go ahead and say a half hour because I haven't killed it yet. And for a half hour's worth of work at the highest setting, differentiating between all of the different nozzle settings, I think it's a hit. I think they really came out with a good tool this time. And I say this time, but in all honesty, I have yet to come across a bad tool from these guys. A lot of their stuff has just really, it's really impressed me, mainly for the quality you get for what you pay. I've really been happy with their other products that I have from them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I do plan on having at least one, maybe two more videos of this thing where it's, you know, not so much of the talking, but more of the usage. And if I can find other things to use this on, to kind of test it out, what its limits actually are, I'm going to do that. But just as a general review and unboxing of this, and general first impressions after doing this job, I would definitely recommend it if you're looking for something like this. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You all stay classy.